what is the best main event as we look forward that AEW currently can do at Wembley Stadium?
That's a very
I've got two options.
It's a very difficult question for me because, look, I can lay out, based on Danielson's promo on Wednesday night, he wants another shot at the heavyweight championship. Danielson against Swerve. Okay, I think it's going to be a great match. Is that Bryan Danielson's last match? Does that mean I don't get my Nigel McGuinness against Bryan Danielson like it should be in Wembley? Do I not get
that? Apparently on his wife's podcast, his wife is expressing doubt that he's actually going to retire.
Oh, God. Okay. We're going to see, won't we? We're going to find out. I don't know. I just, can I get my Danielson-Nigel match? I'm not saying that that's the best match. I'm just throwing out. Danielson seems like he wants another shot, and he wants to take on Swerve for the heavyweight championship. Okay.
But I don't think it's going to be Swerve. I think Ospreay's going to be the champ going into Wembley.
I don't. Then why'd you even put the belt on Swerve to start with? This goes back to St. Louis. You didn't have to put it on him at Dynasty. Yes, he was hot. He didn't have to be the champion. I don't need transitional champions in AEW. I just don't think that makes sense. Okay, so the way MJF was talking in the first segment on Dynamite, he seems like he wants a piece of Okada. Sounds like it. About he's a rainmaker, but he needs a gym membership.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like that should be a pretty good match as well. Do we get Omega returning to take on Okada one last time? Is that a possibility of a great match again?
I feel like All In Wembley's too soon. Just based on everything, and maybe I'm surprised, but I am not expecting to see Kenny Omega before, my best guess, like the earliest I think would be like November, December. It just seemed like the way that everything was laid out and the way they talked about everything and getting the surgery, which by all accounts, I believe he has gotten the surgery now. It's then a long road back after you have the surgery. So I can't imagine that in 3 months he's going to be ready to go at Wembley.
So what you're telling me is that you feel that on Long Island that Ospreay is going to beat Swerve. So what does that do for Swerve? Where is he going to be on the card? Oh, that's not going to work. Black Wrestling Twitter will not deal with that very well at all.
Look, I understand, but I'm not the one who decided to book him against Ospreay this soon. Ospreay, he literally this is what I'm talking about with Tony, man. Like Ospreay did not need to be in that gauntlet match. Didn't need to be anywhere near the gauntlet match because you know what he did the weekend before? He won the international championship. He's already got a title. He doesn't need another championship, and yet they put him in the match. And once you put him in the match, I guess he's going to win the match. And now he's in the match against Swerve Strickland. Unless the Callis family just absolutely turns on Will Ospreay, and that's the only way that I can see Swerve coming out as champion, is Will Ospreay getting screwed because technically he is still a member and still associated with the Don Callis family. And they say he's being too nice, or, Callis comes out, tells him to do the Tiger Driver on Swerve. He refuses to do that. And then the Callis family jumps in and attacks, which would be kind of a crappy way to end a pay-per-view. But I don't know how this works, man. I don't know how you book Ospreay versus Swerve and have Ospreay lose.
Listen, I think that you booked something great. I just want you to know that you've killed the town, though, if you do that. And MJF is a Long Islander, so it's going to be hard to not come back. Because if you have that as a finish, which I have no problem with, I think that works. It puts even more heat on Callis. I like it. And it keeps Swerve as a champion. I'm just telling you that the town's going to be really pissed off at that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It seems like a really bad way to end Forbidden Door. Seems like a terrible way to end Forbidden Door, unless that's not the main event and we put Moxley and whoever he's going to wrestle for the IWGP World Championship in the main event. I don't know, man. I don't know how to get around this because it seems like you put yourself in a corner. So if Will Ospreay's the champ going into Wembley, I think there's only 2 matches that you can do there that would be the best that you can do. And the one would be Danielson versus Ospreay, even though we just recently got it at Dynasty. But based on the promo that Brian gave last night, I'd say Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay, or I guess if you're looking to just, shoot it to the moon right away, I'd prefer more of a slow burn before we saw this, but MJF versus Will Ospreay would be the other biggest of match that you could do to main events All In at Wembley.
I want you to think about it from a big sporting event standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Ospreay coming in as the champion at Wembley versus winning the championship at Wembley. What would you rather?
I'd rather have him win the championship at Wembley. That's why Swerve being the champ all the way up for the next 2.5, 3 months, whatever it is, all the way up, and then it's not a transitional champion, right? Like he would have been champion for the majority of this year, and then then Ospreay goes over and gets to celebrate the big moment. That's why I was dumbfounded and shocked the fact that Will Ospreay won that opportunity to face Swerve Strickland at Forbidden Door. It just made no sense. Because here's the other thing then, right? So if Swerve ends up doing in my fantasy booking world, if Swerve retains the championship because the Don Callis family interferes, well, now Will's got to run through the rest of the entire Don Callis family, and that should take longer than the run up to Wembley. He would have presumably a match against somebody from the Callis family at Wembley at that point, which would also be disappointing, I would think, for that crowd, because it just seemed like to me, to you, to everybody, that Ospreay, they're going to start this ascent, and this ascent is going to end with him grabbing the championship at Wembley Stadium.